When you try to start your car's engine, you might experience problems with your starter not engaging properly if you hear the dreaded clicking sound. When the starter is uninteresting, clicking can either be quick or slow. In either case, you must determine what went wrong and how to correct it. In this short video, we look at reasons for the starter not to engage. We also show you how to check the starter yourself. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe and let's get started. Bad starter solenoid. With a healthy battery, the solenoid may be the problem if the starter won't engage. The starter solenoid transfers a battery-generated electrical current to the starter motor. The starter motor cannot receive electrical current when the solenoid malfunctions. As a result, even though the starter spins, it won't engage. Low battery voltage. Low battery voltage is one of the main causes of the starter motor failing to engage. The battery level drops slightly after starting the car because the starter needs a significant amount of voltage to engage. In addition to the starter issue, you will notice other electrical issues if the voltage drops too low. Before changing the battery, it's critical to identify the cause of the low voltage because it could be caused by a malfunctioning alternator or a parasitic drain. Bad starter plunger or pinion. A plunger on the starter is required to engage the electromagnet, which makes contact and spins the motor. Additionally, it is in charge of forcing the drive pinion into the flywheel. The starter won't engage if these components are damaged. For the quickest fix at this point, it is best to replace the starter. Flywheel damages. The flywheel, a disc attached to the end of the crankshaft, keeps the engine's power steady and under control. The flywheel's ability to transform the electrical energy from the starter into the mechanical energy required by the motor will be compromised if it sustains damage. When attempting to start the car, you might also hear grinding as the flywheel fails. It can also produce an engine that vibrates. Bad wirings to the starter. The battery and starter are linked. The starter won't engage if any of the electrical connections or wiring are damaged because the power won't be transmitted properly. You might only be dealing with battery corrosion in some circumstances. Corrosion can prevent the transfer of power even when the wires are connected. Fortunately, battery corrosion can be easily fixed. Bad engine ground. There are numerous odd symptoms your car may exhibit when the engine ground connection is damaged. One issue is having trouble getting the starter to engage. Additionally, you might experience engine performance problems like bucking or surging. In addition, electrical system issues that are difficult to diagnose could occur. How to check? Clean battery corrosion. The corrosion on the battery terminals typically looks fuzzy and white or green if it is present. With a baking soda and water solution, cleaning the terminals is a quick and easy task. As you remove the corrosion, be sure to wear gloves because it can be abrasive to the skin. Check all of the connections to make sure they are secure after the corrosion has been cleaned. Restart the car and see if it works. Check battery voltage. It's critical to check the battery's voltage output first. You won't be able to get the starter to engage if there is not enough power. Test the battery using your multimeter while the engine is off. For a fully charged battery, the reading should be between 12.4 and 12.6 volts. You might not have enough power for the starter if the measurement is lower than this. Although you can replace the battery, it's a good idea to also check the alternator to make sure that it isn't the cause of the battery's inability to charge. Check the starter. It's time to examine the starter if the two simpler solutions didn't work. Some cars have this part concealed behind other components, making it not always readily accessible. Examine each of the starter's connections. You should use your multimeter to check the starter solenoid to make sure it is receiving enough power and returning power. Some people decide to lightly bang on the starter to see if it will start working again. In some circumstances, this might buy you some time, but it won't solve the problem. To see if you can move the pinion while jumping the starter, you can also bench test it. Check the flywheel. You might want to proceed to the flywheel if all of your other checks turn out to be clear. Here are some general actions to think about. Place transmission in neutral. Remove the starter motor. Rotate the crankshaft. You can use a ratchet. The crankshaft and flywheel both rotate simultaneously. Depending on the drivetrain, it can be found at the side or the back of the engine. Replace the flywheel if you notice any damage to the gear teeth. Hope the information was helpful for you. If so, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, you can support us on Buy Me a Coffee. All links in the description.